Hey actors, it's Wendy Elaine Wright, the Hollywood talent manager. Got an interesting text this morning that I wanted to share with you. Guy reached out to me and said he didn't have the money for headshots and he wasn't able to afford acting classes. And it made me realize I wanted to come in and talk to you about all the different ways that you can become an actor and work on your craft without spending any money. Really, just learning how people behave and watching people interact. So here's a couple suggestions that I have for you guys. For one, in talent managers for actors, every single week, people drop a script and then you get to work on that script and put it up and you get professional feedback, which is going to tell you what you're doing right, what you could do better, maybe things you hadn't thought about, listen to the critiques from some of the coaches, and then go redo it and bring it back again. This is something you can do for free every single week, right? You can watch videos on YouTube from Stella Adler, from Ivana Chubbuck, from Howard Fine. There's all kinds of acting coaches online that are talking about acting all of the time, right? Then you can go to the library where there are thousands of acting books about craft. Stanislavski, Meisner, Uta Hagen, Stella Adler, so many books that you can get for free at the library and start learning about acting. Now, I will tell you that turning off movies, watching movies and turning off the sound, turn off the sound and watching the actors work is a masterclass. Watching how they communicate, watching their facial expressions, their body language, watching how they listen to each other. Watch when they come in to listen to each other, when they pull back. Try to figure out what the dialogue is about, what the relationship is without the sound. Because if you turn the sound off, you won't get lost in the story and forget that you're there to study, right? You will just really pay attention to how the actors are interacting with each other, how they're communicating, what their eye expressions, their facial, their body language, the distance they have, when they come in and talk to each other, when it gets personal, when they get angry. Pay attention. And another exercise is go to the park. Go sit and look at people in the distance. Try to figure out what the relationships are. Or in the mall, or anywhere you are. And don't listen to their conversation, but just try to analyze from their body language, what is that relationship? Are they friends? Are they lovers? Are they close? And if so, how can you tell? What are they doing in their body language that's giving you the impression that they're lovers, or that they don't like each other, or they're in the middle of an argument, or they're understanding what each other's saying? Watch the body language, take notes, because acting is way more than the words that you say. Acting is body language. It is what the actor is trying to get the other person to understand, or what they are reacting to, or what they're trying to say with their expressions, with their feelings, with their energy. And it goes far beneath the words. Because as you know, the words can be rewritten and often are in a script over and over and over and over until you finally have a shooting script, right? So these are things that you can do absolutely free. I also want to encourage you, pick up a camera, get with a couple of other friends and write something simple, 2-minute script, do a 48-hour film contest or a challenge. You know, Hollywood Winter Circle has a 6 to 8-minute film festival going on every year a couple times, and we're just starting the Halloween challenge. Everybody gets to write a 6 to 8-minute film, get together with other actors, write it, shoot it, edit it, get an IMDb credit for it, create a poster. And that teaches you a lot about acting too. Camera angles, making sure you have all the right footage to tell the story. Do theater. Theater's free to do. You can do it in your community. You can do it at your school, at your church. There's plenty of places. You could write a script with a friend and go borrow a church hall and put on a play. Acting is a combination of studying human behavior and doing theater, performing live, shooting content yourself, studying with teachers. And every single Tuesday for free, there are coaches that are talking and teaching and explaining process, technique, things that you can apply to a script, how to interpret a script, how to break down a script. There's many sources for questions for how to break down a script. So Shirtlift Technique has a standard set of questions. Amy Linden's technique has a standard set of questions. Almost every technique has a list of questions that you can ask a script. You can get scripts for free online. Just download the script. Also, you have all the scripts that they put in the TMFA and all of in the file section of the TMFA. There's tons of scripts that have been here before. Pick any script. Then work on it. Try to analyze what's the script about. Why are these two people having a conversation at all? What is their relationship? What are they trying to get from each other? What does your character want from the other person or need from the other person? Or what do they not want, Figure out what your character is trying to get them to understand. What are you fighting for? Fighting for them to understand. What are you fighting against them doing? Figure out what the conflict is. There's so much scene study that you can do without paying for classes. At some point, yes, when you can afford classes, get into classes. You can take them online, you can take them in person. I highly recommend you take them online with some of the great Hollywood coaches because you're going to get better training from top coaches than you are from, average coaches that maybe are regional. Not to say that you can't find some great coaches in certain regions, but why settle for that when you have access now to all the great coaches in Hollywood, really? And I think there's 10 different coaches that go live on a regular basis and teach the craft of acting. And many of them are so affordable. Can I tell you, Amber Bohack at Actor Site is only $40 a month for 4 classes. And Darren Warren teaches, and Hood School of Acting is only a couple $100s a month. Amy Linden is $200 a month. I teach an acting class that's $175 a month. James Ciccone teaches a class, $100 for every 2 weeks. There are so many affordable options. You got Andy Matheny, George Gallagher, Peter Frisch, Sandra Horner. You got online classes with Judy Kane and Mike Pointer and Terry Berland. Lauren Shadima, Lauren Patrice Nadler. There's so many great coaches, and you can do audition coaching with Kenzo Lee, Tony Robinette. So, play this back, write down the notes, look them up on Google, look them up on Instagram, find them, coach with them, learn from them. The most important thing when you are working on becoming an actor is getting good. Becoming a really good actor. Becoming so good that people believe you the whole way through. That as soon as you start speaking, they believe you. And I want to reiterate what Darren Warren is always saying about energy. When you start a scene, starting with low energy, hey, I don't know what you're doing, what's up? This is the most boring choice you could ever have. Start your scenes with energy. I don't care what it's about. Use your energy. Use your personality. Use your charisma, your effervescence. Don't pick boring choices. Don't pick boring moments. Don't walk into a scene with no energy. It's an immediate turnoff. Imagine if you're going on a date and the person schlepped in there with no energy and sat down, hey, how you doing? It's like, okay, next. You want to see people's life energy, okay? Even depressed people have a life energy that you can tell they're depressed. There's joy in people. There's sarcasm. There's passion. There's flirtation. There's shock. There's fear. There's anger. There's 1,000 emotions that you could choose instead of boredom and fed up. And that's why you'll hear Darren Warren talk about that all the time. That a lot of actors just pick fed up. They look fed up in their scene work. Don't be fed up in your scene work. That's not an interesting choice. And another thing about acting is, what are acting choices? If I say, I'm going to go get some cat food, and why are you going to get it? I don't know, just going to go get it. That's not a big choice. But if I say my cat hasn't eaten in 4 days, I have to get to the store and get her some cat food or she could die. That gives me a much stronger choice on why I'm going to get the cat food. And the choice means reason, really. What's the reason? Give yourself a high stakes reason. If I have to get this food because she might die without it, my energy changes, my intention changes, how quickly I'm moving changes, how quickly I'm going to go straight to the store and get it. I might have talked to the vet. They might have said it's really, really critical, and now the stakes are higher. If I just choose I'm going to get the cat food because it's a Friday, That's not a big choice. Choices really mean, what is the reason why you're doing something? So I want you to think about that when you're thinking of your choices. You're talking to your ex-husband, you're talking to your daughter. What choice is behind that? Why are you talking to your daughter? Pick a high stakes choice because it's always more interesting. It's always much more interesting. Every single week, James Ciccone, other coaches drop a script, and it's an invitation from us to you to take this opportunity to get free feedback and see what you're doing well and what could be improved upon. And I want to highly stress that if we correct you or point out something that's not working, don't take it personally. I've been talking to an actress lately that takes everything personally. Let me tell you, you can't have a career doing that. It's tiring, and people get fed up with people that are taking everything personally. You got to learn to just take the feedback and see what you can do to make your work better. That is really always what the goal should be. And if I say to somebody, well, what do you want to be? What do you want to be as an actor? Why are you doing this? I would hope one of your answers would be, I want to become the best actor I can be. Because when you're a really, really good actor, a lot is possible for you in this career. And I also want to give you some feedback about rejection, which I hate that word, okay? I don't use that word. You never hear me use it. I use the word not selected. Simply not selected at this time. And when you audition for an agent or a manager to get signed, you might not be selected right now. You could be selected by them next year, right? If you audition for a casting director, a producer, a director, a network, and you don't get selected, you are not being rejected. You are not being selected at that moment. Well, what's the difference? Well, let me bring my personal fetish. I love Chanel bags, friends. Love them. And I don't buy them full price. I get them at the Real where they're secondhand and I save thousands of dollars. Now, when I go to a Chanel store or I go to the Real or Fashion Pile and I look at 1,700 Chanel bags, I am not rejecting all 1,700 of them. I'm only selecting one, and I'm going to get it on sale. I'm going to get it used. I am never rejecting the other 1,700 or 1,699. I'm simply not selecting them right now. There's nothing wrong with them. They're beautiful. They're valuable. I'd love to have them all. I don't have kids. I'm not putting anyone through college. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. So I love my bags. When I don't select one, it doesn't mean I'm rejecting anything. It just means it's not the right time or place for that bag. And I really wish I had it, but it's not the right time or place. And that's the same when you are going to an audition. There are so many reasons why you're not selected at that time, but I want you to understand it's not a rejection of you. Because you could be so right for another role that they're casting. When you audition for one role, they might say, oh, this actor would be really good in that other movie I'm casting next year. And you might hear from them a year later. And you're going away from the audition thinking, I was rejected. But no, you're going to be selected at a future date. That's like the way the whole business works. You audition for something, casting sees your work, and they go, pretty good. Not for this, but I'm going to be casting 10 more projects next year. And I'm going to bring them in again and again and again. You are being selected, aren't you? You're always being selected. Every time you get a callback, you're being selected. Now, if you're never getting callbacks and you're never going to producer sessions, you never go to network sessions, you really got to look at your acting work. Look at it in terms of how can I become a better actor? How can I become more believable? How can I become a better listener to my scene partner? How can I work harder to get what I need from my scene partner, to get my needs met? How can I dissect this script more with more specificity? What am I talking about? Sometimes I ask an actor, well, is your character that you're playing, you're talking to your husband, how long have you been married? They say, oh, I don't know, it doesn't say it in the script. That means you don't understand what scene analysis is about. So don't criticize yourself about it. Let's just learn about it. Scene analysis is when you break down a scene with so much specificity and you use your imagination to think it, to see it, to feel it, That's what makes it believable. So if I ask an actor, well, how long have you been married to your husband you're talking to in this scene? If you don't know, if it doesn't say it in the script, then you have to make it up. Because if it was a real person and I asked you how long you two been married, you would know, right? You'd know your wedding date. You'd know if you have children. You'd know where you got married. You'd know where you met. So if you take a moment and sit with that, okay, my character is married. Where did we get married? How many kids do we have? What do I like about him? How often are we having sex? Is there something about him that's driving me nuts? Is there something about him I love? Now you're making him real for you. You're making him real for you with these specific thoughts, specific decisions. And now when you talk about your husband, all of that stuff you just came up with is there with you. It's in your subconscious. It's in your emotional state. It's in your memory. And that's important. If you say in a script, I went to the store and got some milk. And I say, well, what store did you go to? Oh, it doesn't say it in the script. Then you didn't go to the store. Then you're not believable. You just said in the script you went to the store. If I asked you in real life, what store did you go to? You'd know, right? You'd know what store, you'd know what you bought, you'd know which direction you took to get there, what street you went down, you'd know how busy it was, how crowded it was, how long you waited in line, you'd know if you picked up some other things that weren't on your list, you'd know if you forgot something, right? In real life, you know all these details, all these specific facts. And if it doesn't say it in the script, your job as an actor is to say it in your imagination, make those choices. I went to Smart and Final. I got I wanted to get the potato chips, but I got the nachos instead. And I got that big kind that, the kind that scoop. And make everything so specific so that when you say, I went to the store, your subconscious is remembering all that stuff. And the line doesn't feel flat and empty and fake. It's filled with subtext. Subtext, meaning all of the things you made up in your imagination to make it a real experience for you. Because it's just a piece of paper with some words on it. But until you add your imagination, it doesn't become real. You have to add imagination and specifics. Right? So practice those things when you're working on the scene study work. Listen to the acting coaches on Tuesday. Get with some friends and write your own scripts and materials. And don't use not having money as a reason not to become a good actor. Okay? You can become a great actor. Just practice and learn the techniques. That's all I'm going to say for now. Have a great day, everybody. God bless you. I love you. I'll see you later.